We have Newsom on for a combative interview. Gavin Newsom is not coming on the broadcast. Let's be real, okay? We already know that. I hope you understand that. You're too important to be, what did you say? You're too important to be having a conversation with these course people? No, I need to do a little bit of cleanup here. I'm going to get into it in a second because as you, if you have been following what is going on my timeline, you're probably aware that I have been duking it out with liberals, libtards on the timeline. Up and down over and over again. Once again, lonely island up in this bitch, okay? I'm seeing some motion from some on the left who are like reluctantly joining in on it. Shouts out to Michael from Pennsylvania. Obviously, he's not one of them. He is in the trenches, but it is very frustrating to see like so many annoying shitlibs are cooking you on. Yeah, shitlibs are cooking this country, okay? They're cooking this country and they're going to continue cooking this country. And I'm not seeing enough movement from this community in general. Centrist liberals are infinitely more organized on Twitter than we are. And also I do despise the left for the most part because like at most the stuff that I've seen from people has been like, reluctantly, I'll say Hasan is right on this. Even though I'm a, Maoist third worldist, like he's right on this. Like, shut the fuck up, okay? Why is it that there aren't any more people who either want to engage with the Democratic Party and actually make the Democratic Party a viable opposition party, who also simultaneously understand the squirrel decided that today's a good day to jump on the dog pile against you? Yes, because they're mentally ill, okay? They're mentally ill. Those leftists are mentally ill, and I'm sick and tired of it, okay? Yes, those are the people I'm talking about. Anyway, we're going to talk about Bondi and shit. You're clearly trying to be effective. I don't know why they do this. I know why they do this, because they are in a cult. At least the Pestany fans are in a cult. This one, quite literally, is in a cult. And the only thing that they care about is like coming after me and being like, we need to remove Hasan from the throes of the Democratic Party. It's like, it's not going to work. Okay? It's not. You're an idiot. Like you're literally just consistently advocating for ruining the Democratic Party. That's what you're doing. And it's very frustrating. Like, I want to stop the bleeding. I want to stop the pain. I don't care about whatever Squirrel is saying. It does not matter. Their position is utterly irrelevant in this conversation. They're not here. They're not in America. Who gives a what they have to say? You don't have to rile up the libs. If you'd vote for Newsom and just want concessions, just say that again. No, I don't care. I don't care. I don't think there's any utility in lying about this shit. Like, I'm not going to concede to voting for Gavin Newsom 2 years out of the gate. Like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Okay, get the hell out of here. Find a better candidate. Gavin Newsom is currently pushing against Ro Khanna in the state that I'm in for a billionaire's tax, and these are like, no, you have to vote for the guy who is anti-billionaire's tax, and you have to like it. It's like, shut the fuck up. No, I'm not going to do that. Okay, yeah. When are we getting a basketball stream? It's not happening. Anyway, these guys are. There's like a multitude of different ideologies at play here. There are the vote blue no matter who, harm reductionist postures, people being like, I'm trans, people being like, Democrats are going to protect the undocumented, Democrats are going to protect the trans people. And it's like, Democrats have literally written you out of existence. Okay, they have. Yes, it's better overall under Democratic governance, Democratic leadership to be a trans person than a trans person under a Republican leadership where you like genuinely have to leave your state. Same with just being a woman in general, living in a red state. But this kind of like, oh, sweetie, you don't care about my marginalized identity ass bullshit, especially to someone like myself, who, regardless of my, white cishet background, I've never shied away from my advocacy for trans people and all marginalized people. You're an idiot. You're a dumbass. Okay? You're a dumbass. Like, and it doesn't work. And it's annoying, and all you're doing is just being like, you're not moral for me. Okay, well, good luck. J.D. Vance presidency. We can't be doing this same old business as usual politics. It's very clear. Okay, it's very clear. It's clear to the voters too, and that's ironically what I keep trying to explain. But these guys who are either chorus backed or whatever, I don't know what this guy's deal is, but there's so many of these dipshits who mobilize against the left harder than they mobilize against the right, by the way. Okay? Like, they're all up in arms right now on Twitter. They're all up in arms. Let's have the conversation now, 2 years out, before having the conversation right on the dial. Okay? I'm willing to have that conversation. I know other people are not. I know other people are too focused on some other shit. But it is seemingly a chorus. Another one, bro. You have to switch these chorus. Yeah, it's just some of these guys are straight up in the pedophile cult. Like, this one is literally in the pedophile cult of destiny. I know for a fact, right? I've seen this guy before. But like, all they do is talk about how I am not really a Democrat. I am not a part of the Democratic Party. Whether you like it or not, we're in it together, big dog. If you hate the Republicans, which I don't think you do, let's be real, then you need to shut the fuck up and listen to what we're saying, okay? I think it needs to be pointed out that Hutch's whole goal of pushing the HasanAbi actually hates the Dem party is to isolate you from influencing anything the Dems do to put himself in a position to be paid by the Dems. Yeah, but it's not going to work because I still talk to the Democrats. You want to know why? Because adult Democrats understand that there is a massive audience of voters here. And not only is there a massive audience of voters here, but also we're right. Like, our advocacy is correct. It's not just like a difference in opinion here. Like, there are a lot of people who are mad. Yeah, I'm not a party loyalist at all. The only thing I care about is advancing an agenda that helps the working class. That's it. An agenda that will destroy the Republican Party. I hate the Republican Party. Okay, I hate the Republican Party. I don't want to concede to the Republicans on policy. I don't like the closeness of a lot of establishment Dems to the Republicans. You literally just have to point them to Zoran to see what you want in a Democrat and how you supported them from the beginning. Exactly, but it doesn't matter. They're literally like, no, we love Zoran more than you now. And the problem is, half of these Twitter squirrel going after Hasan and these chorus gifters is so frustrating. Stop bringing up Twitter squirrel, okay? Utterly irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. Please. I'm not going to have a conversation about the Twitter squirrel, please. Okay, the third way liberals are fighting back in the UK too. They're using bots aggressively as a desperate, dying act of a corrupt cabal. I don't understand. I don't understand. I mean, I do understand it to a certain degree, but it's just like unimaginably frustrating to have to deal with this. But I guess we have to deal with it. We have to push back on this stuff, and we have to communicate to these people that like their way is dead. Okay. Their way is dead. By the way, dude, are you leaving for Canada tonight for brief personal news? No, I'm not even doing personal news. There is no personal news to be had. I worked out this morning and I'm angry. Okay. I'm also working on going to Cuba. Okay. I said last month, and I'm saying it this month, that we need to start treating leftists like Hasan Piker and his followers the same way we treat their MAGA counterparts. Centrists would rather lose every election than stop punching left, and you wonder why we hate you. You hoes have been enabling evil since Reagan. Okay, dude. Dearborn. All my homies hate Dearborn. Your mom is a hoe. Your opinion has no value. Read the GIF. You're an idiot. Exactly. Hey, man, real quick. Who ran as a third-party candidate in New York City mayoral race? The Dem-endorsed candidate or the Hasan-endorsed one? More context of what you actually said than the clip that's spreading.
Enthusiastically crawl through 10 feet of concrete for all of the marginalized people.
And that's why they get away with their ineptitude.
100%.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
so 100%. I'm like, I don't even entertain that stuff, especially this far out from an election. But even in the primary season, that's immediately the conversation is like, well, whoever is the candidate, you're going to vote for them, right? And you know what's really indecent about that too? They never return the favor for left flank candidates.
Yeah, no.
Because no one ever made hay about Bernie Sanders potentially becoming the candidate, and all of the articles that came out about how Trump might be more preferable to Bernie Sanders, because they were writing those. Liberals were writing those articles talking about how, the head of Goldman Sachs, who's like, I'm a lifetime Democratic Party voter. I think, Donald Trump is better than Bernie Sanders.
I know.
Would enthusiastically crawl through 10 feet of concrete for all of the marginalized people.
Do you feel like the Democrats know that, and that's why?
Wasn't this bound a paywall as well? No, this is on I've Had It. We went on I've Had It. And Jen asked me this question, and I told her what I have been saying every single primary season, and I will continue saying it. And it doesn't really matter, because it doesn't really matter. You can cry all day, every day. You can work aggressively to try to cast me aside as an outsider, as someone who is like trying to ruin the Democratic Party's chances. Ironically enough, This was where the clip started. Okay. I'm gonna blast off right now, real quick, and then we're gonna get into this real quick, and then we're gonna talk about the Epstein pedophilia defense that's taking place. But yeah, this is these guys are unimaginably repulsive. They are incredibly annoying, and ultimately, their opinion is utterly irrelevant. Even though their opinion is utterly irrelevant in like the masses, they don't actually engage with mass politics at all. But the problem is they do engage with like the Democratic Party consultants. You got to accept that there's nothing to understand here. Some people are addicted to losing and they believe they deserve nothing. It's how a woman with low self-esteem in an abusive relationship struggles to leave the abuser. I mean, maybe, but this is here. Well, let me blast off real quick and then we'll talk about it briefly and then I'll get into it. You should drag some of them in to see if they can debate their position. Yeah, I think I'm going to start doing that. I think I'm going to start cooking these shit libs a little bit. Okay, the entire liberal timeline is baying for blood. El Paso airspace shut down. Pan body crash out over Epstein hearing. Canada shooting. Get in now. Do we have a blast off meme chatters? Oh, I think we do, yeah. Hold on. Satan Yahoo in DC. Another incident with ICE in St. Paul. Yeah, we'll talk about that. El Paso airspace was shut down because the DOD thought a party balloon was a drone. I know. I'm going to talk about that. I know for a fact that it freaked out the Mexicans too, though. Like it freaked out the Mexican government and shit too. Because it should freak people out because the American government is going crazy. The community note that on this post defending you comes from it's r/destiny, bro. It's r/fucking destiny. When I watched the interview, I was genuinely impressed with how much tact and grace you used in your response. These libs literally just can't accept that they have no party truly on the side of the face of evil. There's so much going on in the world. Speaking of primaries, are you keeping up with the LA mayor race? Yes, I am. Hold on. Some of these content creators defended Chuck Schumer not endorsing Mamdani. Show me all of that. If you see one of those in the timeline, let me know. I would love to bring that up. I'm an American trans woman, and you are absolutely right about this. We need to fight this, because shitlip diet fascists like Newsom are going to try to put the lid back on open fascism as it guarantees the GOP time to recover and the media playing along. Yes. It's not even just that though, because I do think that a lot of these guys they hate that like the pod johns are aligned with me. They fucking despise whenever like CNN offers me like a profile or something. They lose their fucking minds. They're like, why not my favorite pedophile sex pest streamer? Why this guy? He hates the Democrats. What are you doing? No, demonstrate party loyalty above all else. It's like, I want the party to fucking win. I want there to be, I don't give a shit. I don't care about like the Democrat brand. I don't care about the Democratic Party as a party. I care about policies. I care about them being an actual actual opposition party to the fascism that's coming from the Republicans. Okay? That's what I care about. I care about advancing an agenda that will help the American working class. I care about advancing an agenda that will roll back American militarism around the globe. I don't care. I will work with anyone to get that across. But obviously, I can't get that across with the Republicans at all because I fucking despise them. They're reactionary and they're not even remotely interested in that. Okay? They're not. They're not interested in that at all. But it's very, very frustrating that these fucking dumbasses, some of them are dumb, some of them are cynical, some of them are getting paid, cannot comprehend that reality. There's just like no difference in opinion here. It's my way or the fucking highway, and they're just yelling to their own echo chamber. They're yelling to their own echo chamber. Unfortunately, that echo chamber has elected representatives in it and their own consultants. Anyway, we're getting fucking stomped on by fascists, and these like diet right-wing libs are just hitting their left flank. I do suspect a little bit of fuckery here because like they are so united. They are so goddamn united. And they are so aggressive. It almost feels like there was a boss call being made on chorus or something. And I don't know, because guess who I also talk to? Like, guess who I'm, sometimes at events with? Brian Tyler Cohen. I see him at those events. I don't know what his like personal opinion against someone like myself is, but like there is a connective tissue here. So I don't know why the fuck these chorus guys are coming after me so goddamn hard. Midas touch too. Yeah, this shit is so funny, bro. Looks like the Kamala headquarters 67 Labubu Matcha Dubai checks went out. Yeah. It's crazy. They just flat out went as aggressively as possible. We need to start educating people on who the fuck Newsom is. Yeah. Anyway, Let's show them Newsom with Charlie Kirk and Ben Shapiro. Yeah, Kors is not your friend. Hopefully understand. I don't think it's my friend. But I do think, so what spurned all this? Hold on, I'm going to get into it in a second. They want to lose to the Republicans again. You got to do a Newsom coverage. They are not going to let up otherwise. I don't think they're going to let up even after I do a Newsom coverage. It's so funny because most of like the hardliners on the left hate me because they say I sheepdogged for the Democratic Party because I work with the Democrat electeds. I try to get them to push. I try to push them on this policy side. You know what I mean? Yes, Hasan, you should have corrected your friends in the Newsom question. Newsom is a dead end. We have Newsom on for a combative interview. Gavin Newsom is not coming on the broadcast. Let's be fucking real. Okay. We already know that. I hope you understand that. You're too important to be what did you say? You're too important to be having a conversation with these course people? No, I need to do a little bit of cleanup here. I think you guys don't understand. There needs to be a cleanup here. Okay? There needs to be a little bit of pushback here because these guys do speak directly to the fucking consultant class. That's why Trey Easton of the Searchlight Institute joined it on the fucking pylon. Okay? Can we just trust my judgment here every now and then? Can we have a fraction of confidence? When I talk about certain things, there's a good reason for it. Like, I understand that there is more important things happening in the fucking world. But, like, can we every now and then realize that there is a concerted effort here that if we don't push back against right now, it will only fucking grow in momentum, in size? Some of you didn't fucking trust me on the Israel stuff, and you understood that I was right. Some of you stayed behind. Some of you left. Now you're back. Okay? Just please fucking trust me here. The reason why I'm bringing this up at this very moment is because it's going to reach a boiling point. It is already the same exact back and forth, the same exact combative institutional defense of third-way neoliberalism that has been the cancerous entity that is the beating heart of the Democratic Party. And they're going to push it over and over again. That much is clear. A lot of these people who have positioned themselves as being like Democratic content creators on Twitter, which also then turn into like TikTok rants as well, these guys absolutely are doing it already. They're doing it early on, and I appreciate that they're doing it early on. I'm saying it right now. I'll talk to Brian Tyler Cohen. I'll talk to the Midas Touch guys. I'll talk to any of these fucking dudes who want to understand what my position is, what my worldview is. If they want to fucking come and debate me on it, we can do that, okay? Anytime, any place. I'm sick and tired of this bullshit. We need to fucking have a normal conversation about it, and we need to nip this shit in the bud. Because I know for a fact that the large majorities of these influencers will toe the party line. As long as the party is captured by the left flank that are significantly better candidates with a significantly better national posture than the establishment Democrats do currently, which is precisely the reason why they have a historic unpopularity in this moment. These guys will follow along. They don't have like an ideological commitment. They're at most the sex cult freaks. Their ideological commitment revolves around defending the interests of their freak ass fucking pedophilic Twitch streamer, or not Twitch streamer. He's not on Twitch. Sorry, kick streamer. Right, bro? What is the point in chatting in human streams like this? Almost like this is done to limit the size while championing democracy. Shut the fuck up. If you're an ultra, if you're an anti-electoralist, this conversation is not for you. See yourself out of it. Okay, shut the fuck up. Either be a good fucking cadre and push back on the shit, or shut the fuck up. Okay, sit on the sidelines and watch. Okay, but I don't want to hear your morally righteous position as a fucking ultra that has been addressed a million times over by even fucking Vladimir Ilyich Lenin. Okay, fuck off, ultras, pile on the shit libs. Okay, stop fucking yelling at me. I'm tired of it. It's a fucking ideological battle taking place here where these guys have no real staying power in mass politics, where most liberals want more from their fucking party, want more from their elected representatives, but they are speaking to the consultants that are desperately looking for some kind of momentum. They can't have that real momentum in the real world, so they're trying to build that momentum on fucking Twitter and on TikTok, okay? That's it. This entire thing started with this post.
The camp for
I
him.
was on I've Had It with my friend, Ms. Welch, who presented the question, would you vote for Gavin Newsom or J.D. Vance for president? Okay? Or something along those lines. Now, obviously, this was bastardized, and it was cut before my actual, my longer response to the question. But I basically said, it's out of my hands at that point. I have no control over this. I think it's over at that point, which is true. If it's a matchup, J.D. Vance versus Gavin Newsom matchup, it's fucked. Okay? And it's not necessarily fully out of context. This is a 2-minute and 20-second video here. But here, let's take a look at the clip. Let's take a look at how they have presented this. And we will talk about what's going on right now.
Disappointed in
Who do
Gavin
you vote
Newsom.
for, J.D. Vance or Gavin Newsom?
Well, I'd have to vote for Gavin Newsom.
Me
of course,
too.
100%.
I wouldn't blink.
There's no
What
doubt.
about you, Hasan?
I'd probably vote third party.
You would?
Oh yeah. I mean, at that point, it doesn't even matter. Because my policy on this is the same as my refusal to endorse Kamala Harris. The reason why I did not endorse Kamala Harris was because she did things that were not only unproductive but also unconscionable. And I still stand on that. I still talk about it all the time because people constantly bring it up. They're like, you didn't sufficiently promote Kamala Harris. You're the reason why she lost. And I'm like, I am incapable. There is no singular force in this country that is capable of making or breaking an election. And if that was real, then it is the most idiotic thing not to listen to my demands. But everybody knows that that's not real, right? Mm-hmm. If I had this singular force to be able to make Kamala Harris the president, then Kamala Harris should be coming to me every day and being like, let me do a collab with you, please.
Totally.
Right? That's not the case, of course. And they know it. That's why they didn't do it. But the campaigns are always responsible for whether or not they are able to win the crowds, win the population over, and combat against the couch. Not necessarily even against the Republican Party, but usually you're fighting against the couch, people who just don't go out and vote. And for me, the way I see it is if the Democratic establishment makes this decision one more time, just as they did with Hillary Clinton, just as they did with Kamala Harris, and in some ways, just as they did with Joe Biden as well, which led to Trump too, then they just don't care. And there's not much I can do.
Let me tell
beyond
you
that.
something. I agree with everything you say, but as a person who lived in a red state for 50 years, I would crawl through 10 feet of concrete.
Can I just say that this isn't about you not being right in your analysis? It's about trying to damage your reputation with normie Dems who agree with you on policy but are not sure who can beat Republicans, which is their number one goal. They are trying to keep the left from power by saying we don't actually want to beat the right. No, exactly. You're 100% right. And it's kind of funny that it's an echo chamber of Democratic Party consultants who also want that message to be out there, but they can't overcome the needs of the masses. Because as someone who goes out there, as someone who's at those fucking protests, I see the Barbaras and I see the Debras and I see the people that have had their minds changed. I see the people that look at Bernie Sanders and go, that's our guy. We want someone like him. We know that Bernie-crat, the Bernie-crat wing of the Democratic Party is the real electability argument. Those are the real guys that will not only push for the change that is necessary, but that argumentation, that policy technique is what is viable, what is actually viable. So these people are just in a fucking echo chamber talking to one another. And they're trying to create friction, okay? I don't fucking care overall. They think like they got me. They think they got me. That's another one of these, that's another thing that really frustrates me when they're like, ha, we got you. You outed yourself. You're not a real Democrat. It's like, yeah, bitch, I'm not. I'm not a fucking real Democrat. I'm not a party loyalist. I care about policy and I care about beating the Republicans, okay? If there was a viable third party right now, if there was a viable third party, I don't give a fuck what it's called, and they were more in line with my worldview, viable being the key word, I would be voting for them. If we had a parliamentary structure and there was a viable third party, you think I'd be fucking voting for the Democrats? Fuck no. Suck my dick. I don't give a shit about the Democratic Party beyond their capability of beating the Republicans, because I do not want the reactionary forces to win in this country. I fight back against it every single fucking day of the goddamn week. I'm willing to work with liberals in line with that agenda. But if liberals are trying to actively fight against me rather than the pedophile protection squad that is the current Republican Party, they're not with fucking cause. That's it. These people don't understand that, though. They think like, no, it's team sports. It's D versus R. This is it. Look at Jen and Austin. Why are they bringing up the idea of voting for Gavin? It's because the priority is being right. The best way to beat the left is go left. Zoran proves it. No, but Jen and Austin love Zoran. They love the left. They would never fucking turn around and demonstrate any sort of like ideological zealotry towards the against the left position. I know them. I know them personally. I love them. They're fantastic. And this conversation, like, a lot of people are, though, Hasan, and they vote in the primaries, but they agree with us, so we don't even need to talk about this dumb shit. All I'm saying is that most people are like Jen, okay? Most people are like Jen, where they're like, I will vote for whoever, but I also recognize that the left position, especially in the primary structure, is the popular position, right? That's it. But you still advocate to play for that party. You're going to get Gavin, big dog. There ain't nothing you can do about it. Exactly. So you don't care about beating the Dems. You are coping. Oh, shut up. I despise some of you fucking leftists so much. Like, you are so stupid. Please. I know I try to maintain a big tent here to the best of my fucking ability, but some of you literally cannot stop yourselves from being like, I'm morally righteous. It's a bourgeois electoral system. Okay, both of the parties are liberal capitalist parties. Yes, I know. You're not smart. You're not smart for revealing something that I've been saying for the past fucking 10 years. Okay, the idea that we've already accepted Gavin Newsom as our fucking as our candidate is also so stupid, so silly.
Vote for Gavin Newsom, even though I think he's duplicitous, a hypocrite, a thirst trap, hungry for power, all of the things that you say, and harms the Democratic Party and sets the psychological soil to be more prey to fascism. All of that I agree with. But there are so many young, queer, Black.
No, do you live in California? Is that context not relevant in this conversation? No, that's cop out. That's a cop out. Okay. Me living in California is a cop-out. I have a massive audience. They don't just live in California. Many of them are going to vote blue no matter who, regardless. I'm not going to like urge them not to vote blue no matter who, regardless, but I will never tell them to do that in the fucking primary, okay? And I will, depending on the candidate and depending on their platform, I will either choose to endorse or choose to not endorse. Having said that, I will never endorse a Republican. I will never tell people to go and vote for a Republican. I will always push back against the Republican agenda. Okay? You're all adults. You can make up your own fucking mind. But I think it's a cop-out to just be like, oh, you're living in California, so it doesn't matter. No, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. Because my commentary is not just staying in the state of California. My commentary expands beyond the state of California. So there is truth to what the shit lips say when they fucking turn around and go, oh, Hasan, you command a massive audience. Like, why the fuck won't you get in the tank for Kamala Harris in the same way that I did for Hillary Rodham Clinton, in the same way that I did for fucking Joe Biden? And yet, even back then, they would yell and say we weren't sufficiently pro Hillary Rodham Clinton, that the Bernie bros somehow cooked the books, even though many of those people have now realized Bernie was right. Bernie would have been the fucking candidate to beat Donald Trump in 2016. We wouldn't have had all this fucking heartache. And yet, they still can't expand on that concept. They still can't comprehend. In any case, yeah, it's almost reflexive for Democrats on here to blame professional lefties for every time the party fails, but where the party has been atrophying votes is among workers who don't follow politics closely and have vaguely moderate politics. Go back to Blue Sky. If you think moderates where I live will vote for Gavin Newsom, you can't handle reality. There is truth to this as well. And by the way, moderate politics or vaguely moderate politics doesn't even mean that they would like hate someone like Zoran Mamdani or hate someone like Bernie Sanders. Okay. That's the irony here. A lot of people think that these people are making decisions on ideology, ideological goals, policy goals. They're not. That's the reason why people think Bernie Sanders, Republicans think Bernie Sanders is more of a centrist than Kamala Harris is. It's just about who likes. It's just about which politician you like. The Twitter conversation is disconnected from the real world. Moderates are not lining up to vote for Mr. French Laundry. He's an Oppo goldmine, has nothing to do with lefties, who will mostly vote for him. My point is Hasan doesn't matter. Newsom is a toxic candidate for reasons irrelevant to him. Yes. Anyone and everyone Anyone and everyone that hyper focuses on my assessment here of Gavin Newsom, that's making that hypothetical conversation, vote blue no matter who conversation, run into the ground, does not fucking realize that they have lost it. Hasan Piker doesn't care about marginalized communities. The guys in this picture, yeah, the guy who fucking posted this shit literally has Bill Clinton in his fucking profile photo. He's like double invested in pedophilia. It's fucking crazy to me. I went to college with a girl you were fighting on the timeline. Stopped talking to her when she took an internship at the Koch Foundation. Yeah, so many of these people are fucking operatives. Here, I'll give you a great example, okay, with Gavin Newsom. What would it take for me to actually vote for Gavin Newsom? Because it's not like I'm never going to vote for Gavin Newsom. But if he fucking turned around and was like, I'm going to stick it to the Republicans regardless, I'm going to actually punish the Republicans that have actually engaged in corruption. If he earnestly changed his policies on homelessness, instead of fucking combating homelessness as a aberration that must be forcibly excised, sometimes directly, by his own hand. Instead, he actually had a robust housing policy that combated the reasons as to why homelessness exists and persists. If he actually had not vetoed Medicare for all in his own fucking state, because there's good things about Gavin Newsom that I have also openly revealed. He is far better than the National Democratic Party when it comes to prison reform. I know that there's a lot of ultras in here that will get mad at me for saying that, but I grade politicians on a fucking curve. Okay? And as far as the National Democratic Party goes, Gavin Newsom, unironically, has been better at prison reform in general, even though California is still fucking, there's still so many issues with the criminal justice system in the state of California. Okay? Holy fuck, it's not just ultras who make that critique. Stop. Okay? Liberals will always co-opt the progressive flank. That's the point. If you're not building a third party movement and you're still making this fucking argument in my chat, just here, take an hour off, go build communism right now. Okay? Build communism now. Hit the communism button that you think I haven't been hitting, and then I'll come to you. Okay? I'm giving you an hour off just so you can go and build communism, a robust communist movement. Okay? You build it, I will be there. I will be by your side. Build it now. Stop chirping in Twitch. Stop chirping in a fucking Twitch chat. Build communism right now. Start building communism. Building communism yesterday. Go build it. Go build it. 36-month subscriber. Oh my God. Progressives get co-opted into the fucking liberal brand. I know. Shut the fuck up. I know. I know that. Honest question. Why does the Dem consultant sphere think you're a party loyalist circa 2023? They don't. They know I'm not a party loyalist. They're just mad that the Democrats actually talk to me rather than them. That's what this is all about. They're chirping because the Democrats talk to me instead of their favorite pedophile. That's literally half of the reason why this became a point of contention. Because this fucking, this dipshit and many of the other people that are chirping right now are all fucking major Sex Pestini fans. They're like, why won't the Democrats actually align with my favorite N-word saying, incredibly edgy, white supremacist fucking adjacent content creator who was procuring child sexual abuse material? Why won't they talk to him instead? That's literally all this is. That's all this is. That's all this is. I watched a video of a small communist YouTuber who critiqued you so hard for doing this stuff, but I don't blame you for yelling at these losers. Yes. I let the fucking left flank criticism wash over me because I think it's bad posture and bad politics and a betrayal of what I believe in if I were to constantly position myself as the reasonable lefty. Look at these fucking dumbass lefties. Come on, libs. Love me, please. Liberals, love me. I'm your guy. I'm the actual, moderate leftist. The leftist with a smile. Trust me. Look at how much I hate these other fucking leftists to my left flank. I don't do that. You want to know why I don't do that? Because it's bitch shit, okay? Because the left in this country have no real fucking power. So all those guys, whether it be Bad Empanada, whether it be fucking Squirrel, or whether it be like random fucking small communist content creators are like, oh, well, Hasan is problematic for this reason or that reason. He's a sheepdog for the Democratic Party. I don't care. Yeah, go ahead. Whatever. I'm always going to punch up. I'm not going to fucking punch down. Okay? Joke's on you, man. I've legit been building a communist newspaper group in Turkmenistan. We have passed out so many newspapers that we have surpassed your influence among the Turkmen. You mad, bro? I'm so mad. The Coors motherfuckers calling you a 1%er while they make $8K a month for posting one fuck-a-son TikTok a week that gets 150 likes. Dark money donors wasting cash on a less effective sex pestiny orbiter daily quest for free. I know. K-Hive influencer going after you too. I know. We're going to talk about that too. Hold on. I got smoke for every single one of these motherfuckers today because it all comes back to this. The Democratic Party favorability. Okay? They don't want to answer this question. Why is the Democratic Party unfavorability right now at 64% and only growing? Why? Donald Trump is the president. Donald Trump is a pedophile, allegedly. Donald Trump is defending pedophiles, not allegedly. We know he's defending pedophiles. Donald Trump has a neo-Nazi brigade that is unaccountable, that is killing Americans in the suburbs. Donald Trump has not fixed the economy. Donald Trump is incredibly unpopular, and yet the Democrats' unpopularity has only grown in that time frame. One must ask the question, why? Why are the Democrats historically unpopular at a time like this? They have no answer for this question. They have no answer for this question. I do. I know why. It's because the Democrats are not fighting back sufficiently against the Republican Party's agenda. That's it. They're known as the do-nothing Dems. They're known as the no-backbone Dems. They're known as the Democratic Party that has left its own population behind, its own voters behind, the marginalized identities that Democrats seemingly only remember to talk about when it comes down to fucking, demanding for vote blue no matter who people. Those marginalized identities have been left behind by the Democratic Party. Okay, that's it. The most popular Dems in the country, across the board popularity, stem from the more radical Democrats, the Bernie Sanders of the world, AOCs of the world, Zohran Mamdani. Why are they so popular? Why are they carrying the Democratic Party's brand currently? The reason why they're carrying the Democratic Party's brand currently is because they're fighters. They're fighters. They have loyalty. They have the base. The base wants more people like that. Okay? These people are reactionary. Okay? These people are reactionary. This position is unironically reactionary. They're forcing you to accept the false binary with the premise of Gavin versus Donald, which would force you to support the better one if you're rational. We have to show how irrational it is to force people in the false binary again, which is the reason why Harris lost. We can and should ask for something better than Gavin if we want to fix the conditions that led to Trump. Exactly. That is exactly my point, which is part of the reason why I responded with shit libs don't care about losing to Trump. Shit libs who don't care about losing to Trump now want you to obey in advance to their hypothetical establishment candidate while there isn't even a guarantee there will be an election 2 years from now, using marginalized people as a cudgel as Gavin threw trans people under the bus. Okay? Not only that, but I also responded to him directly over here as well, where I said, you're in a sex cult led by a pedophile streamer, Lamau. The day he goes Republican, you will too. You didn't care when he boosted Sam Hyde, Nick Fuentes, or Lauren Southern. Don't talk to me about obeying in advance. Vote blue no matter who got us in this mess. To which he had the silliest fucking response. How many Groiper accounts have you retweeted and signal boosted? Brother, what are you talking about? Your favorite content creator's mouth is on top of a fucking neo-Nazi's penis. What do you mean? You retweeted Groipers. Yeah, this guy is a D-writer for Sex Destiny. Okay? I don't think I've retweeted any Groiper accounts, but it's so fucking... Are you not boys with Michael from PA anymore? Where did you get this fucking idea from? Why can't the Republicans in Congress think for themselves? Why are they just going along with Trump's slopaganda? Yeah. Sex Destiny is basically a fucking Groiper that votes Democrat, but these guys literally think that's the most viable alternative. You know what I mean? They are so internet brained. They think like white guy that is consistently trying to be edgy and consistently saying slurs is the best, most viable Democrat of all time. No, man, that politics of that sort is repulsive to the average person. You might actually think in your hug box that Hasan Piker represents Maoist China. Okay, he represents communism. He represents the USSR. This is like an utterly repulsive version of politics. True, to the average American that is uninitiated, utterly oblivious to what like socialism, communism looks like. Okay, yes, that is fucking repulsive. But in action, when we're talking about the electoralist agenda, I'm not fucking running Maoists. Okay, I want people like Zohran Mamdani to fucking run.
He doesn't give a fuck about people of color. He doesn't give a fuck about trans.
Oh, shut up, white boy. Suck my dick, white boy. You fucking didn't give a shit about Gaza, okay? And Kamala Harris lost. And when Kamala Harris lost to Donald Trump again, Donald Trump actually fucking did unlimited. unlimited violence to these marginalized identities. I hate these motherfuckers, man. They wear black and brown people like a fucking shield. It's so dumb. The only time these motherfuckers go, we shouldn't do identity politics. We shouldn't do identity politics. And then they immediately deploy it to their left flank. We know what's up at this point. That's it. We know what's up. Reducing care for marginalized communities to a single hypothetical vote misunderstands how political engagement works. The premise here is that political morality is measured exclusively at the voting booth, while also claiming it proves he exploits marginalized people for profit. We all know that Hasan has spent years directing money, attention, and platform power towards those communities. If the standard for caring about marginalized people is unconditional support for whichever major party candidate is on the ballot, then you're redefining care in a way that conveniently excludes any form of political action outside of party loyalty. These guys want to turn the base of support and the base of loyalty in the Democratic Party to the MAGA cult, okay? And they're doing it at a time when there is a tremendous amount of energy directed towards demanding more from the Democrats. There is a lot of enmity for the Democrats right now. And the reason for why there's a lot of enmity for the Democrats right now, as I keep repeating over and over again, 64% disapproval, 33.9% approval. The reason why this exists is because the Democrats are not doing it. Okay? They're not doing it. They're not leaning in to the demands of the base. They're not even doing like the shitty hashtag resistance liberalism of 2016.
People, he doesn't give a fuck in elections. All he cares about at the end of the day is clout and money. If Republicans created a left-wing plan to constantly spread voter apathy and discourage people from voting against them, it would look just like Hasan Piker. If you're curious what I'm referencing, here's a clip from the most recent podcast that Hasan Piker just went on.
Gavin Newsom.
Well, I'd have to vote for Gavin Newsom.
Me too. I wouldn't blink. What about you, Hasan?
I'd probably vote third party.
You would?
Oh yeah. I mean, at that point, it doesn't even matter. Like,
If you can't see the difference between JD
Yes, if Gavin Newsom wins the primaries, at that point, it doesn't fucking matter. We're cooked. 90 likes, please skip this. Man, shut your bitch ass up. If I'm fucking looking at something, there is a reason for it, okay? If I'm looking at something, there is a fucking reason for it. Shut the fuck up, okay? He just posted this an hour ago. This shit will do fucking numbers on TikTok. I don't think you guys understand. Left bashing right now is absolutely the fashion for the Democratic Party aligned consultant class and the people that are desperately trying to get a bag from either Chorus or from the liberal Democratic Party aligned consultant class. These guys are putting their flag on the ground right now at this moment, okay? Stop backseat producing my fucking stream. Some of them are doing it for an $8,000 check. Some of them are doing it because they want to get the $8,000 check down the line. It's ironic because Jen, after this clip ended, agreed with me because Jen understands that that vote blew no matter who. That vote blew no matter who mentality is what got us here. Okay? You're brain breaking yourself on sub 100 viewer Andes for your mental health. Skip these losers. Once again, take an hour off and really reconsider why I'm actually talking about this. This person is utterly irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. Their opinions are utterly irrelevant. They are trying to actively stake the they're trying to actively change the Democratic Party's attitude, okay? Because they think the Democrats are going to listen to someone like myself a little too hard, and they don't want that to happen. Yeah, Gavin Newsom is not even in the running right now. My theory, the faces of woke, one, we're all liberals. You're the faces of woke, two, and the liberals are desperate to have someone actually left-wing to have mainstream relevance. Is it a coincidence that this is exactly what the right is saying about Fuentes? To a certain degree. Is this person confirmed a deorbiter? Yes. Yes, he is a part of the Hezbollah brigades or whatever. Yeah, I don't know if you saw or covered it, but that account is a Hezbollah mod. For your information, you're retweeting a moderator of Dan Stoltman's gang-stalking Nazi community trying to raise awareness since these bad faith fascists are trying to infiltrate discourse and poison the well against anybody that's pro-Palestine, pro-universal healthcare. Yeah, here it is. He's one of the fucking mods of the Hezbollah brigades. This is the type of shit they post over there. They're literally fucking 4chan groypers, but liberal and pro-Israel. That's the problem. These people don't understand. It's basically a fucking neo-Nazi community, you know? Yeah, get them out. Kick Islam out of America. This is the type of shit that they're posting on there. Deport the brother fucker. Average octopi IQ is 73. What is octopi? I don't even know what that means. Yeah, sand N-word. Total sand N-word death. Like, this is the type of shit that these guys are posting in that fucking community. And then they try to act like they're actually woke or progressive or liberal in any capacity. Ironically enough, these are the fucking infiltrators. Okay? These are the fucking infiltrators. This is Destiny's community. Okay? And there are so many dumb fucks out there who get deluded into thinking, either because they're going to get an $8,000 bag here. So many dumb fucks out there who think these guys actually are on their side. Okay? This is Sex Destiny's community.
Around marginalized people in red states. And even though this corporate Democrat is, you see it in a long-term game. In the short-term game,
You aren't communist enough for me. I'm unfollowing. Okay, go ahead.
President Newsom over President J.D. Vance.
Yeah. Substance. This is what I meant when I said it's useless trying to reach these people, even knowing that a Vance presidency will be a continuation of the current admin. He still wouldn't vote blue no matter who. These people are just as bad as most diehard maggots. Okay. Anyway, I said this guy, reposts fucking all this racist shit. He's a racist. Obviously, he is an insane person, and none of them actually have any interest in like helping defeat the Republicans at all. They're just doing their own petty fucking personal grievance politics. Ironically enough, Jennifer is not one of these people, right? And neither is Austin. These are my friends. These are people that I've known for years. And they are trying to relitigate vote blue no matter who politics on the timeline. And it's giving the game away because Gavin Newsom is not even the fucking candidate, right? And if you listen to the rest of the conversation that they cut out,
would enthusiastically crawl through 10 feet of concrete for all of the marginalized people.
Do you feel like the Democrats know that and that's why they get away with their ineptitude?
100%.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
so 100%. I'm like,
you've known Jen for years? Yes, of course I've known Jen for years. I knew Jen when she was a liberal, okay? I knew Jen when she was a liberal. She has talked about how she's gone through this transformation personally.
I don't even entertain that stuff, especially this far out from an election. But even in the primary season, that's immediately the conversation is like, well, whoever is the candidate, you're going to vote for them, right? And you know what's really indecent about that too? They never returned the favor for left flank candidates.
Yeah, no.
Because no one ever made hay about Bernie Sanders potentially becoming the candidate and all of the articles that came out about how Trump might be more preferable to Bernie Sanders. Because they were those articles talking about how, the head of Goldman Sachs, who was like, I'm a lifetime Democratic Party voter. I think, Donald Trump is better than Bernie Sanders.
I know.
Would enthusiastic.
Anyway, this guy that I just showed you earlier, that is like a head moderator for Sex Destiny's community that fucking, engages in like insane Islamophobia and is constantly like reposting these fucking stalkers. Okay, Bernie Krat, left populism has been demonstrably more viable against Trump-style right populism since 2016. How do we have left populism actually succeed and not get fucked over like it has in the last 3 elections? Yeah, this is like the type of shit he posts. I was raped, they were raped. Is there somebody you forgot to ask? Wear a shirt that says kill all landlords, his own mother was a landlord. Calls Hila a terrorist for completing mandatory conscription, dodge mandatory military service in Turkey. Like, their only politics is literally fuck Hasan. Okay? Their only politics is like fuck Hasan. They have no real interest in changing this country. They have no real interest in combating the fucking Republicans. Anyway, so he followed up on this and said, for those of you wondering why some of us on the left are so opposed to allowing political arsonists like Hasan and his ilk into the tent, the replies on this thread agreeing with Hasan is a perfect explanation as to why we think that. They'd rather hand this country over to people like J.D. Vance and Peter Thiel, whose only goal is to take our democratic system out back behind the barn and put down rather than vote for a Democrat who doesn't 100% align with their beliefs. This person is not on the left. He's lying to people. The reason people like Hasan and his fans think that way is because the majority of them are rich and white, thus unaffected by the disastrous policies enacted by the GOP. Boom, hit the identity politics line. Once again, guy who has been calling me a fucking Islamist, terrorist, radical fucking fundamentalist for maintaining the majority position on Israel is turning around and being like, he's a white guy. He's a white guy. He doesn't care. He's an out-of-touch white guy. Gavin Newsom hasn't won the fucking primary yet, okay? And I don't think he will. And even if he was, he would be one of the few individuals who could lose the fucking J.D. Vance. A lot of liberals don't understand this, okay? They are still agitating for third-way neoliberalism when it's died already. I said these people are not on the left, and anyone who agrees with them is either being paid by the Dems or being duped. They work for a pedo Twitch streamer who has collabed with and platformed Nazis. They are pro-Israel and anti-Medicare for all. I can't believe I called Destiny a Twitch streamer. He's not a Twitch streamer. And anti-Medicare for all. They don't care if the Dems lose to the fascists. Okay? He's a kick streamer. Yeah. Oh. If you want to understand, like, the most exhaustive version of this vote, blue no matter who, is this. Hutch would vote for Jeffrey fucking Epstein.
Jeffrey Epstein, yes or no, Hutch?
I do. Yeah. But if he had a D next to his name and he was running for a Texas
oh my God.
I would probably vote for him. I'm just saying.
That'd be a tough one.
Wild.
Not kidding.
You're just gonna let that one
not
go.
a joke. Not a joke.
But, wow.
Condemn Jeffrey Epstein.
This person admitted he used you for engagement. Oh, I did it because I knew folks like you would easily fall for it. Easiest trap I've ever said.
Oldest.
That's not what he said, you grifter fuck. He didn't say he'd vote third party of Newsom versus Vance. Didn't know Newsom and Vance were the Democratic and Republican nominees already in 2026, the year of our Lord. Yeah, he's pretty stupid for answering that idiotic hypothetical, and you're pretty stupid for making a TikTok from him answering a hypothetical just so you could farm other stupids into thinking you're not the biggest grifter out here. Oh, I did it because I knew folks like you would fall for it.
Angry teenager.
I don't think a lot of these people realize that a JD Vance, Gavin Newsom matchup would cause so much fucking enmity, would cause so much fucking animosity that JD Vance could potentially lose. Or, Gavin Newsom could potentially lose to JD Vance. Yeah, damn, bro. They're even saying you're not hot. I know, I saw that. Trey Easton, who is, again, who should always be asked why he refused to put who he worked for in office. It's John Fetterman. This is one of the John Fetterman handlers. He's neither hot nor cool. His politics are just hate the Democrats. We should all stop listening to him. This is it. This is the main point. These guys want desperately for the National Democratic Party to not move away from them. At least this person gets paid by the Democrats, right? He's a consultant. Many of these other fucking dipshits that are doing the fuck Hasan shit are only doing it because they're fans of a different content creator. The liberal side of the party is attacking you because we have the power now. They need to kneecap you for Gavin. Yes. Is it fair to say the ideological divide between you and them, capitalism versus socialism, or is that an oversimplification? No, it's even dumber than that, because there are plenty of people who aren't socialists that I work with within the ranks of the Democratic Party to accomplish some of the goals that I have. So the irony there is it's not even this ideological divide broadly, even though that ideological divide obviously exists. In this circumstance, it's literally them saying, no, we don't want more Zoran Mamdanis. Oh, God forbid we get more Zoran Mamdanis. That's what it is. Burn the opposition parties already diminished credibility than to make the Dems a real fighting party for the working class. These people are so scared. The more Zoran Mamdanis are going to get elected that they would rather burn the opposition party's already diminished credibility than to make the Dems a real fighting party for the working class. This is what this conversation is about. Your dog Kyla is running away. Yeah. These types of guys are so fucking boring too. They say the same thing every time. I know. All of it reduces to, I will vote blue no matter who. Great. That's awesome. Let's get your fucking commitment to voting for whatever the leftmost candidate is then. Because I think that the leftmost candidate is the most electable candidate. There's only one Zoran. It's much easier to hamstring his agenda and say, look, it didn't work, but there are a bunch of Zorans. People will start to wake up. Exactly. That's what the fucking real problem is. They are absolutely terrified. These centrists are absolutely fucking terrified that there is going to be a wave of candidates there is going to be a wave of left flank candidates that come out of this midterm battle, and they are literally shitting bricks right now because the primaries are upon us, and they are terrified of that. Okay? They're terrified of that. These people are so scared that more Zohar Mamdanis are going to get elected that they would rather burn the, what is this? That they would rather burn the opposition party's already diminished credibility than to make the Dems the real, oh, fuck. The real, yeah, I did fuck that up. Hold on. Diminished credibility than to make the Dems a real fighting party for the working class. Blakely defended you. This blue MAGA lib really used the video of Hasan Piker being right as an attempted gotcha. What it reveals that these people are subservient bootlickers who have absolutely no idea or interest in wielding power. You know who understands using the party as a vehicle to wield power? The Republicans who keep beating you.
And another thing about that Hasan interview and the terrible takes and meltdowns that
Anyway, let's start with this dumb fuck first, and then we'll get into the commentary.
Hasan Piker, who is the world's oldest angry teenager, just said that if this was the choice...
Dog, you look this way. You can't say I'm the world's oldest angry teenager when you look that way. Okay, what are you then? An even older variant? Like, what the fuck? Really? This is what we're doing today? You can't be looking like that, man. You can't be looking chopped as fuck. You can't be a chopped unk and be like, oh, Hasan Piker is the world's oldest angry teenager.
In 2028, he would vote third party. Watch.
JD Vance or Gavin Newsom.
Well, I'd have to vote for Gavin Newsom.
Me
of course,
too.
100%.
I wouldn't blink. What about you, Hasan?
I'd probably vote third party.
You would?
Oh, yeah. I mean, at that point, it doesn't even matter.
So you're telling me 1 year after the second Trump term, where we've seen Americans profiled, detained, and killed by ICE, the freeze on foreign aid, deep cuts to health programs, and SNAP, the withdrawal from climate agreements, the gutted environmental protections, American farmers being forced to compete with foreign producers, the January 6th party, the regime change in Venezuela, the Doge failure, the tariff circus, the rising cost of groceries, the mid-decade state gerrymandering push, and there's a lot more. But you're telling me that after all that, you're willing to risk more of the same. So why is Hasan so willing to let this continue? It's really simple. He profits off Republican chaos because he understands better than most of his comrades the difference between when Republicans are in power and when Democrats are in power. Watch.
I don't give a fuck about the Democratic Party, but they are our representatives, and they're supposed to represent us, and they do have a platform, and the media does listen to them, so we have to wield them like a weapon to the best of our ability. We have to use them to also continue yelling about these things that we care about.
And it's clear that he's just here for the engagement. He's only interested in monetizing the anger that Republicans generate when they're in power while being a whole-ass millionaire Nepo baby cosplaying as a revolutionary.
And they're supposed to represent us, and they do have a platform, and the media does listen to them, so we have to wield them like a weapon to the best of our ability. We have to use them to also continue yelling about these things that we care about.
And it's clear that he's just here for the engagement.
I like that he posted two things that are not even remotely at odds with one another. How is this even remotely connected to engagement farming? I don't understand. Why are these people constantly revealing themselves as people who have no understanding of how fucking politics works? You are washed. You're fucking 50 years old. You're a 50-year-old loser who has not even been able to carve out a fucking audience for yourself because your worldview is directly in line with rehashing whatever the fuck some Democratic Party consultant paid you to say. You have no agenda, you have no vision, and you don't mind when the fucking Republicans actually win. God damn. Your worldview is repulsive to the average person. You have no policies, which is why we shouldn't even focus too much about this shit. We shouldn't be focusing too much on these on these influencers for the most part, okay? Because the influencers are not speaking to a real audience. They're trying to create an audience. They're trying to create momentum behind third-way neoliberalism once again. But they're fucking morons that don't realize that the real people on the ground want more. And that is reflected in the polls. God damn, you're 50 years old, but you have the understanding of the politics understanding of a fucking 10-year-old. Every single time they're like, these Bernie bros, these Bernie bros. This country is an insane asylum because what do you mean you're already demanding people swear vote to some corporate shithead almost 3 years from now I'm personally of the belief that we won't have anything resembling a country or elections by then. But even if we do, I know how you see the Dems give Nazis every single thing they want and think somehow continuing to do that saves us from this nightmare. Bunch of these people doing this exact thing in the comments. This would be the fourth election of doing the same shit that keeps netting us worse and worse conditions, and they haven't learned a thing. Truly, medieval serfs have more independence of thought than this. Exactly. It's mind-boggling. It's so frustrating. These people are our enemies, okay? Until they turn around and recognize that the momentum is on the left flank, that people are demanding more dynamism, people are demanding policies that actually help them. People want to beat the Republicans, okay? People want to beat the Republicans. That's it. And this business as usual bullshit from the establishment Democrats does not beat the Republicans. It is actually the reason why we have Donald Trump again. Yeah, John Marco had a pretty solid approach to this. Said, I actually think it's a good thing to not preemptively swear you'll vote for Gavin Newsom before he is the candidate. Also, Newsom is legit unelectable. He's pro-Israel, pro-billionaire, two stands that will doom him in the general election. Combined with being very unlikable, inauthentic, he will lose if he's the nominee. It's crazy to me. How many times are we going to run this back? The 2016 election. Yeah. So many people are arguing for accepting being held hostage by opportunists trying to use the existence of a psychopath to their benefit. It's so crazy. Yeah. Gavin Newsom is building prominence in the Democratic Party right now because he's actually, doing fun, quirky stuff on the timeline, right? He's like posting like Donald Trump. People like that. Okay. And that's fine. Why are they on your ass now about this, even though you've been preaching you hate the Dems for the longest time? The reason why they're on my ass is because regardless of how much they fucking yell about this shit, the Democratic Party still turns around and goes, Hasan, what do you have to say about this? What do you think about this? And that fucking kills their brain. They're like, that's the whole point. The whole point here is to try to get this message that Hasan hates the Democrats. Hasan doesn't give a fuck about the Democratic Party. Hasan is an opposition figure to the Democratic Party that wants the Republicans to win in front of as many Democratic Party consultants as possible, not realizing that half of them are in the chat right now. They don't understand it. They don't realize that, like, when I go to the fucking DNC or when I'm actually working with the fucking Democrats, half of the Democratic teams are staffed by these motherfuckers that are in my chat right now. They don't comprehend it. They don't understand. Like, why are the journalists talking to a Hamas supporter? That's what their worldview is, so fucking sheltered that they can't comprehend that people can have different perspectives on this stuff. And then they constantly find themselves tugging along after the fact. They constantly find themselves going, oh, wow, I guess people do really hate Israel. Oh, well, I guess I hate Israel too now. Oh, I guess people really love Zohran Mamdani. Oh, well, I love Zohran Mamdani too now. They don't want to be in the fucking ground floor because they have no vision. They have no vision whatsoever for the future. That's why they're consistently wrong when it comes to domestic politics. Why do you think so many fucking people turn around and go, oh, I guess Bernie was right. Bernie was the right candidate. No one cares about what you shit fake libs have to say anymore. Real leftists are taking the party back. You're either on board or you're a Trump supporter in the way. No matter who the primary victor is, everyone better be on board. Everyone's fucked. We're fucked either way. If Gavin is on the ticket, the left needs to wake up fast to who he really is. No, we really aren't, Lamau. He's the perfect type of president to run right now. Ruthlessly hates Republicans and looks the part. Being a pure leftist is not something the electorate is going to care about, better or for worse. Yeah. Epstein was saying Zohran was crazy until he was the candidate. They're fucking wrong all the time. Epstein also was saying Joe Biden shouldn't fucking drop out. Joe Biden is not going to drop out. He was wrong. Hutch, who is a dick writer of Sex Pestiny, was talking about how Kamala's going to win without the left over and over again. It's like time traveling and watching your tweets from your peak lib days. My peak lib days. Hutch says he would vote for Ben Shapiro over Hasan. What? Why are you? I mean, you need to give me a fucking actual. Also, if libs are already wanting to vote for him without a clear stance on subjects he walked back on his podcast, those some of the likes of Ben Shapiro and Charlie Kirk, then it allows him not to fight as hard for those things like trans rights, etc. Exactly. I hate the Republicans more than these people do. I want to defeat the Republicans. I want to imprison some of the Republicans that have actually caused all of this chaos, okay, and all of this instability. These people don't. It's that simple. All of these guys are Destiny fans. As someone who rightly keeps his focus on MAGA, I'm going to briefly deviate and make a few observations. Committing to the voting third party and saying it doesn't even matter is both indefensible and wrong. may as well be seen by Dems as him slamming the door on them, thus motivating to go rightward. He could have said something like, I can't say because Newsom needs to earn my vote if he wanted to apply leverage. The very worst Democrat is objectively better than any MAGA candidate. The schism is sadly yet another disadvantage we face in the anti-MAGA movement, even as the stakes get higher and the terrain gets more uneven. I frankly had enough of the online blame game amongst the anti-Trump coalition, particularly blaming the voters within these blocks, blaming one another for US aid, the millions of dollars die as a result, blaming one another for the Palestinians. I don't believe online political influencers have anyone else's interest at heart except their own. This is bullshit. Okay? This is fucking bullshit. If that was the case, I would be moving very differently. If I had no investment in the things that I'm advocating for, I would either decide not to work with any Democrat whatsoever and just say, I am the most moral leftist of all time. This is a bourgeois electoral system. I will not be participating in it. Okay? If I did not have any investment in advancing the causes that I advocate for, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't be in the fucking trenches. I wouldn't be in the streets. I wouldn't be fundraising for these initiatives. I wouldn't be working with the existing sitting electeds right now to the best of my fucking ability. I wouldn't be trying to get people elected into positions of power if that was the case. So no, this kind of wishy-washy outsider bullshit where people go, oh, like this guy simply only cares about himself is fucking idiotic. Okay? I've been saying the same exact shit for the past 12 goddamn years. I've been doing the same exact shit for the past 12 goddamn years, and people still say, he's grifting, he's grifting, he's grifting. My positions haven't changed. Ironically enough, this is a rehashing of the 2016 era argumentation over and over again by people who I thought had woken up to the reality that Bernie would have been a far better alternative to Donald Trump anyway. Kylie Chung says, why are we doing 2028 loyalty pledges to Newsom in February 2026? Please be serious. This is a guy who refused to admit Israel's committing a genocide, has made California the most hostile place in the world to homeless people, and we're supposed to make zero demands and embrace him in 2026. Such a brainwashed society where people are so convinced we work for or owe politicians things like unconditional loyalty when it's entirely backwards. Exactly. It's super simple. It's super simple. Our electeds need to respond to us. Our electeds need to listen to us. Yeah, this video you made is 8 years old in 2 days. ISIS Gestapo wasn't popular then. Now it's the average voter's opinion. And people still have the audacity to fucking act as though, this is from February 12th, 2018. 8 fucking years ago. And people still have the audacity to make it seem like I have positions that aren't consistent. As the contradictions worsen, people start recognizing that the same old business as usual establishment Democrat politics is not actually working, is not actually causing. Bro, I think you should re-release your old shit. Anyway, I don't believe in online political influencers have anyone else's interest at heart except their own. The space isn't about seeking truths and solutions. It's simply about grifting and propagandizing while having their audiences fight each other on their behalf. But I guess when the incentives are this misaligned, it's all part of the game. Schisms and feuds drive engagement and payout. Oh, God, everyone always tries to fucking claim that there is some cynical shit. Okay? Oh, dude, there must be a cynical reason. Yeah. The cynical reason is the reason that I have openly admitted over and over and over and over again. Throughout 2024, you preached Kamala to get the only winning position, a weapons embargo, which polls showed would be the case, and they ignored you and lost because of it. Yes. What the fuck is this? The link is not working. Yeah, there's this as well. Actual trans person here. Gavin Newsom made a comment about trans athletes that I don't agree with, but California is still one of the best places for trans to be trans in the country. See the difference? You don't care about what happens to us, so stop acting like you speak for us. I'm not. If you want the same business as usual politics from the Democrats who will then sell you out immediately after the election is over, go right ahead. Have fun with that. Okay? Have fun with that. I'm going to keep advocating for trans people. I don't give a shit what you as an individual trans liberal has to fucking say. That's it. Sick of people like this using my community to empower MAGA politicians. Yes, that's what I'm doing. I love MAGA. You were a Zionist who made excuses for the Gaza genocide every day under the Biden admin. I'm not, and I didn't, but sure, man, whatever you need to do about to tell yourself I'm ontologically evil. I still would pick him over JD Vance. That was the actual question here, not that he's the perfect warrior for trans liberation. Oh, God. It's so fucking ridiculous. It's so infuriating, okay? It's so infuriating. Like, this identity shield also doesn't matter, okay? It doesn't fucking matter. Democrats don't give a fuck about you. You're yelling at one of the few people that does give a fuck about trans people in general, okay? That's all you're doing. Democrats don't give a fuck about you. They would literally shoot you in the fucking head if it meant that they would be able to secure additional electoral wins. Shut the fuck up. It's ridiculous. What's the first thing that the Democrats did in the aftermath, before the autopsy was conducted, in the aftermath of the loss to Donald Trump? What's the first thing that they did? They went to fucking television and were like, you know why we lost? Because of these fucking trans people. That's why we lost. That's literally the first thing that they did. And you're over here still being like, no, they care about me. They care about me. No, they don't. You're a fucking idiot. They don't. Democrats be like, yes, we committed genocide. Yes, Bill Clinton and Larry Summers are rapists. Yes, Obama's lawyer knew Epstein was a sex trafficker and accepted gifts from him. No, we won't punish any of them. Yes, you have to vote for us or you don't care about marginalized people. It's not about trans people anyway. Part of my advocacy around this, for the record, is that if you run a front-facing campaign that focuses on material issues like universality around the expansion of existing social safety nets like Medicare for all, free college, shit like that, then Republicans have to focus on that stuff and position themselves against that stuff. And then they're too busy yelling about that shit, so they don't talk about trans people. Because trans people, whether we like it or not, are a tiny fucking sliver of the population. Most people don't know anything about trans people, and they think trans people are weird. Okay, that's it. Any conversation that we're having about trans people over and over again is going to always lead to a culture war defeat. So in order to protect trans people, you have to just say, look, I fucking love trans people. I don't think we should be attacking trans people. They're our neighbors. They're wonderful people. Why the fuck do you care? You're being weird. This is like 0.1% of the population. Who gives a shit? Shut the fuck up. Any conversation that you have beyond that is going to be a loss. And you know who did this perfectly? Zoran Kwame Mamdani, okay? He was uncompromising in his pro-trans position, and yet that never got brought up in the fucking conversation. Now, you might say, oh, it's because it's the New York Democratic primary. Sure. But he went on Fox News. Why the fuck did Fox News not bring that up? Because they were too busy talking about fast and free buses. It's that simple. When you have something that people need to vote for, the other people that are attacking you have to attack that. They have to position themselves as being against that. Or better yet, they have to concede. They have to say, you know what? As a Republican, I want fast and free buses too, right? And then what happens? That makes that position the position. That makes that policy platform the only policy platform. This is how you fucking win. What? Maybe you're talking about the CCP killing innocents by millions? It is about you? Wait, what? The CCP killing millions is about me? No, the people that want to make this about me are fucking deluded. Okay? You are delusional. I am one content creator, you fucking moron. I don't care about your fight with Destiny and online idiots. I'm just not supporting JD Vance. No, I never said support JD Vance, you fucking baboon. Shut the fuck up, you donkey. There has never been a moment where I have said I am in favor of voting for JD Vance. You can always tell how little confidence a Democrat holds in potential candidate by how early they freak out over leftists not voting for them. Yeah. Better for who? A middle-class trans professional like her or an unhoused trans youth? Trans people are far more at risk of being homeless than anyone else. And Gavin Newsom is actually so much more harmful to homeless people, but shit libs don't really give a fuck about that. That too, but I'm not even going to get all I fucking want. It may look like Gavin Newsom is a craven prick running for president on the backs of a tiny and besieged minority group, but maybe this is some kind of Christmas Carol situation and he'll turn into a good person at the end. Yeah, there it is. I'll like this post. Liberals, when you don't want to vote for their corporate shill, you hate marginalized people. Liberals, when Palestinians talk about Israel's genocide. Dumb single-issue voters who care about foreigners. Liberals, when they see a homeless encampment. One of the biggest reasons why J.D. Vance is nationally unelectable is because of being the governor of California, okay? People think California is a shithole that is filled to the brim with homeless people, okay? Homelessness is a major problem in the state. And the reason why homelessness is a major problem in the state is because Gavin Newsom is so far up the ass of the real estate developers and the lobby. Wait, what did I say? You said JD Vance? You mean Newsom, right? Oh, I was talking about JD Vance. Sorry, I was talking about Gavin Newsom. God damn it. Gavin Newsom is the governor of the state of California. Okay? California is seen as a shithole filled to the brim with homeless people. The reason why there's a lot of homelessness that is a massive fucking problem in the state of California is because Gavin Newsom does not want to change the real estate market here. Okay? That's it. It's ironic that Ari Drennan has also said many people are saying that Gavin Newsom is the J.D. Vance of the Democrats. I'm going to fucking quote retweet her latest tweet with this. Ari Drennan has been real vocal about Gaza. Yeah, I mean, I know these people are fucking monsters on that point too, but like, I'm not like, I'm not going to fucking get into that side of things as well. I really don't understand what libs want outside of total fealty because Gavin will lead to the same dissatisfaction we saw under Biden and the re-upping of resentment. Yes. Newsom is pro-billionaire, anti-big tech regulation, anti-activist rights. That's all we need to know. Different side of the Trump coin. Yeah. Anyway, here's the problem. Okay? Here is the fucking problem. When people say stuff like, oh, I want no harm to the American ruling class, my enemy is the American people. I get why people say that. But you have to understand, many of these voters, all the way from diehard blue no matter who voters, okay? Diehard blue no matter who voters, all the way to even diehard MAGA voters. They're disillusioned, and in many instances, they're scared or they're angry, and they have no appropriate vector for that anger and hatred. The Republicans take that anger and that animosity and channel it in the direction of voting for MAGA and MAGA policies that end up actually worsening the material harm that they're experiencing. And the Democrats say, no, just vote for our guy and shut the fuck up, because otherwise things will get worse. And while there is truth to that, while there is fucking truth to that, because harm reduction in theory is correct. It is the correct position, right? Like, Gavin Newsom will be marginally better than whichever the fucking Republican candidate actually is. There's no world where I will ever advocate for a Republican, right? But Democrats know that that theory is correct, and they dupe people into getting on board with whoever their establishment candidate looks like, whatever that establishment candidate looks like. This is a major problem because not only is this, while the harm reduction shit is theoretically true, it doesn't work in elections. Okay? It doesn't work in elections at all. People don't vote for the harm reduction candidate. They don't vote on harm reduction narratives. Is the consultant class the reason why liberals like BTC and Midas Touch won't credit Mamdani as much as they praise Newsom? I don't understand why liberals would be. They do credit. BTC and Midas Touch love fucking Zohran Mamdani. Come on. They know that Zohran Mamdani has motion. They know that Zohran Mamdani has momentum. They do. They're not dumb. Okay. Yeah. What's interesting about this entire process also is that it's an echo chamber. One of the interesting things about liberal online spaces is that they legitimately just like to see content where people repeat that they would vote for any Democrat over and over and over again for years. Yes, we know. Thanks. Why is this something you need to say every day? That's it. I don't think you really hate the Republicans. Post DNC fiasco is really relevant here. They keep saying you're selling out the country to the Republicans, but that's literally what they're doing by refusing to reconcile the anger the voter base has against liberal politicians. Exactly. I mean, is it because they're reading the room or is it because they actually like his policies? Big difference. No, fucking promoting this position is because they want to literally excise any sort of outsider. I am an outsider. I am not bought. I'm not paid for. I will never fucking do a loyalty pledge to the Democratic Party, and I will not get paid by the likes of Chorus or anyone really to do any sort of propaganda for establishment Democrats. And because I am unbought, and because I can't be bought, and that's partially because of you, by the way, the viewers, the Piker Broadcasting Service is sponsored by you, the viewers, for you, the viewers. Okay? But because of that reason, they see people like myself as a real threat. Because at the end of the day, the consultant class gets paid by telling the Democratic electeds what they want to hear. You're doing great. Keep getting lobbyist money. Keep offering no real alternatives, no real solutions. People will not be mad. Put Gavin Newsom in charge. He's going to fix the problem. Like, this is what they're rehashing over and over again to an audience that is experiencing tremendous discontent, not only with the MAGA movement, obviously, understandably, but also with the motherfucking Democrats as well. They don't want to address why people are frustrated with the Democrats. Here, let's see what Ben Shapiro and Gavin Newsom had to say. when they were having their fucking podcast. By the way, Gavin Newsom will talk to Ben Shapiro, will talk to Charlie Kirk, will talk to anyone and everyone before he will talk to one of his fucking constituents who has voted for him, by the way. You know?
Have now been dragged into this conversation, some dragged, some run with, flags waving, into the conversation.
This notion of genocide.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, look,
Israel did not commit a genocide in Gaza. There's no standard by which Israel committed a genocide in Gaza, just on a factual level.
Just as a legal and factual level.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is your opinion of this?
My opinion is I understand the tendency for people to make that, to assert that.
Why?
On the basis of the images and the proportionality as it relates
doesn't mean genocide.
No. And by the way, I agree with you.
And international and proportionality doesn't mean that if you kill my child and I then kill 7 criminals, that I've been disproportionate.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but I think but I understand that tendency on the basis of trying to reconcile the proportionate nature of how the war was ultimately conducted and the devastation.
I have a question. Why do you?
I don't disagree with you on Israel committing a genocide. To fucking Ben Shapiro, this is your boy. This is the guy you want. This is your candidate. Get the fuck out of here.
Why do you feel the need to create a permission structure for that sort of stuff? I mean, meaning it's not true.
Yeah.
Why not just say it's not true?
Yeah. Look, I don't know the definition, or I don't know the legal.
What is this? Law, thanks. Is it possible to merge this coalition? What is this? And Kyle's naive enough to think the liberals will form coalitions with the left. Is it possible to merge this sober understanding of the Democratic Party with the leftist strategy to participate in elections anyway, so long as we maintain maximum pressure on these candidates we begrudgingly vote for? Basically a proto-coalition politics until we have a viable third party. That's my goal. That's literally what I'm doing. Like, yes. Here's Hut saying he would vote for Ben Shapiro over you.
Shapiro versus Hasan. That's a little bit more difficult, but oh man. I mean, see, the thing that you have to remember is that with Hasan, I listen, I do not, I think Ben's foreign policy would be, and at the same time, I think Hasan's foreign policy would be beyond bad. It would be, if you gave Hasan control of the most powerful military the world has ever known, I don't I think the implication.
Why do we care about what this guy has to say? He has no emotion. He doesn't. The reason why we're talking about this is because this is the type of shit that these guys are talking about on that side of the bargain. Okay, this is the vote blue no matter who. This is the fuck Hasan contingency of the vote blue no matter who that says, actually, I'll vote red over Hasan, brother. The sex pest, and he literally said he'd vote for Adolf Hitler before he would vote for me. Okay, in a hypothetical matchup between me and Adolf Hitler, he said he would rather vote for Adolf Hitler. Hutch would rather accept segregationists to the party than parlay with leftists.
Who were pro-segregationists. You'd say well, I welcome them within the party. Right, they have a D in front of their name, not an R, and so thank you. Please, let's fill up with pro-segregationists. You're welcome here.
I mean, we'd be going back to the Democratic Party of 5 or 6 decades ago, right?
Sorry, that didn't answer my question. Would you welcome?
Oh, the answer is probably yes. Yeah,
to?
In that context, that wouldn't you rather have the New Deal and a Great Society stuff than not? Prime?
Sorry, stop trying to dodge the question.
Wait, isn't the answer yes?
I'm not.
No, hold on. No, it's not. We're not we're traveling because he's like, oh, we're going back in time. No, we're not doing that. I'm saying, hey, for 2025, right, or into 2026, we have brand new pro-segregationists coming into the Democratic Party. Would you welcome them because they have a D in front of their name instead of R? He says no. Pisco says no. Hutch, what about you?
Maybe. Yeah.
There you go. All right. Yeah. So that's a difference of opinion here, right? I'm against segregationists, no matter what decade it is.
Well, do you? I mean, I don't want to get hung up too much. We can move on to the next topic. But do you think that Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes.
Okay. And so,
Hutch, let me clear it up, right? Because Hutch,
do you think segregationists or fascists should be the counter question? Do you think a Democrat that is a white supremacist, pro-segregationist Democrat, do you think he's just as much of a fucking fascist as Donald Trump is? Because yes, the answer is yes to that question. What the fuck do you think fascism is? It's not a totally separate thing than being a segregationist Democrat, dumbass. He had a lot to say about you this morning, I know. Hey, just letting you know that you've tweeted about Hasan 22 times this morning, but not once about the current DOJ oversight meeting or ICE or anything besides Hasan, really. Again, it doesn't matter. These guys only have one note, which is fuck Hasan. They choose Ben Shapiro over me.
The reason you would say yes.
My stuff, but go ahead.
Okay, but tell me if I'm wrong, Hutch. The reason you would ever say yes to a pro-segregationist Democrat is because what's on the other side is now the right has moved so far, even past segregation of, yeah, we're doing segregation and a lot more worse stuff, right?
I'm going to move on to the Pam Bondi shit in a second.
Right now, everything the same, but you would welcome a segregationist Democrat?
Say that question again? I'm not
right now, every policy on the right remains the same. I do think this is like we're fascist, treading into fascism, but they haven't, said they're going to bring back segregation yet. They're teasing the idea of miscegenation, revisiting that.
But we're talking about fascism, right? Like when we talk about fascism, we should get into the specifics, right? What does that actually look like?
Right. But if the Democrats are pro-segregationists, that's worse than the current right-wing party.
You're saying that if we had, like, for example, like thankfully there are no emerging segregationist Democrats. I'm happy to entertain your hypothetical, but even if we were to do this hypothetical,
Ridiculous.
like you're saying that, like, let's say like one or two like segregationist Democrats emerge and all of a sudden they were competitive in like fucking Nebraska or Missouri. You're saying that us adding that to like get a Senate majority would be worse than the MAGA movement right now? In terms of like,
I think it would be. I think it would make the. So if I believed empirically it would help stop Trump, I would encourage you to vote for them. But we just have a different thought process on the empirics. So the empirics are that I think, and I think Soypil is convinced that allowing segregationists into the Democratic Party would like hurt mid to long term results in the brand of the Democrats, such that it would worsen our chances. To
I mean,
Johnson County lives like this. Replies right now. I'm sorry, but we're never going to agree that ICE would have been this rampant in the U.S. streets under Harris. What you shared is far more agents of the border to stop fentanyl. Out of curiosity, what's important to ICE in the streets against civilians or Israel funding? Oh my God, these guys, man. These fucking guys, man, understand how any of this shit works. They literally, I think for liberals, there's this like brain poison where their starting position is compromise no matter what. Like the best politics is a politics of compromise. Hold on. They are farming you. What? Not knowing dialectical materialism does no motherfucker? I know.
Do you guys understand that like black civil rights leaders, when they were, deciding who they wanted to endorse when FDR was running, they endorsed him even though he opposed an anti-lynching legislation. And even though a third of the Democratic caucus were segregationists and Dixiecrats. Because they're concerned.
Dude, the politics of the New Deal Democrats, first of all, that's my argument, okay? My argument is, there's two things that I have to say here. One, this motherfucker said, well, race relations in the country is resembling 1930s America. Fucking psychotic, okay? But secondly, New Deal Democrats literally did what I'm talking about, which is put material advancements at the forefront of their fucking campaign strategy. Yes, they were leading a coalition of people, regardless of their social policies, that wanted to move America in the direction of social democracy. It's not an accident that New Deal Democrats not only won for decades after, but also consistently dominated American political discourse, where Republicans had to concede to them, okay, lest they ever want to be elected ever again. Ronald Reagan did the exact opposite, where he turned all of this, where he turned class warfare into an issue of culture war from Nixon onward. But Ronald Reagan was the death blow to New Deal Democrats style politicking, okay? He turned around and he was able to market billionaire-backed class warfare as a culture war issue. And the Reaganite style of politicking has been domineering in American politics, has destroyed the Democratic Party.
Fascism was rising. And yet, hold on. And yet we have a conversation these days about like Donald Trump is a fascist threat. And yet, like, you propose
to take his dog shit off rip. They say black civil leaders did this. Like there wasn't an entire wing of black movements vehemently against people like the Black Panthers and Malcolm X. No, this is even before that. It's a war, a nasty, deadly war, but it is a war. The death toll is harrowing and awful, but I highly, highly, highly doubt that Israel's trying to kill every Palestinian in Gaza. Yeah, he's a fucking idiot. Liberals are centrists who think they are the best of both worlds. Their starting position is compromised, but also with the assumption that since they are centrists, they are inherently correct, not realizing that no one agrees with them, right? Or the left. They hold no position. Exactly. That's why they're always demonstrating the politics of following rather than leading. Yeah, Hutch thinks black people could vote, let alone vote for FDR. Why are liberals freaking out about Hasan not committed to vote for Gavin Newsom? Isn't the point of a centrist campaign to win over Republican voters? If you're confident in the moderation strategy, Hasan's comments shouldn't concern you. If they do, ask yourself why. Yeah, by the way, I never told people not to vote for Kamala Harris, ironically enough. Hutch did. Don't vote for her. You are not necessarily this coalition, and we will do it. We will get it done without you again. Fuck you expecting us to do. Beg, lol. So does that mean you'll be quiet if she loses? You're not going to come out of the woodwork to blame us for her loss, right? I never told people not to vote for Kamala Harris. Okay? I never told people not to vote for Kamala Harris. I told people not to vote for Donald Trump. I just said I'm not going to fucking endorse Kamala Harris unless she takes a strong position on the genocide that was unfolding, which would have been good politics and good policy and the moral thing to do. And according to a straw poll that we conducted on election night, 80% of the community voted for Kamala Harris. I even said Jill Stein is a fraud, which I still maintain. That is a position that I believe as well. Apparently, Hutch told people not to vote for Kamala Harris and was flexing about how Kamala Harris was going to win regardless. Interesting. The counterpoint is that people say you discourage people not to be saying she wouldn't be better than Donald Trump, and that hurt their feelings, except I did say that Kamala Harris's positions on Gaza would be identical to Donald Trump's, but on other issues, especially issues that pertain to domestic politics, I do think that Kamala Harris would be marginally better than the Trump administration. The problem is she wasn't communicating that. That was my criticism. My criticism was if Kamala Harris is antagonistic to Donald Trump's positions on immigration, she should say so. She shouldn't try to lean into the fucking right-wing reactionary perspective. That was my argument. Anyway, another self-owned Hutch tweet. If a fucking Twitch streamer is seriously influencing your 2024 decision, there's a 0% chance that you take politics seriously in the slightest holy shit law. He knows this. He knowingly lies. No, I think he's just stupid. I genuinely think. Don't say marginally better. You've seen what the Trump admin has done. No, marginal differences between candidates actually have disastrous consequences. Marginal differences between candidacies have disastrous outcomes for the average person. Okay? This is true. For example, Barack Obama is marginally better than the Republicans on healthcare. That is a disastrous difference between the Republican healthcare engineering and the Democratic Party's position. Why is it marginal? Because the true opposition to the right-wing healthcare structure is socialized medicine. Okay? It's Medicare for all. Both Barack Obama's plan and the Republican plan is still maintaining a private healthcare system. There is a consolidation. There is a concession there. You have to recognize that, which is precisely the reason why this is a marginal difference. That doesn't mean that marginal difference is not majorly consequential. Okay? This is the part of the problem with nuance. Both parties at the national level believe that healthcare should be private. Okay? There are some Democrats who don't, but for the most part, the Democratic Party overall thinks healthcare should remain a private endeavor. I do not believe that. Okay? And I don't think you believe that either. And that's precisely the reason why, when I say marginal differences, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Okay? This is something that even Ari herself understands and believes when she's talking about trans people, right? She understands that Gavin Newsom is better than Republicans, albeit marginally better than Republicans, because the true opposition to the Republican agenda would be one that says, we're not doing this to trans people at all. No way, no how. We're not conceding on eradicating trans people from certain public spaces just to satiate the appetite for death and destruction of the most reactionary 10% of fucking American voters. Okay? That's the real opposition. And if you're trans, you know that already. The marginal opposition is being dramatically better on trans people in general, but marginally opposing the Republican position by conceding on certain issues. There is consensus politics in this country, and we need to understand that. If the overall conversation is like, do we segregate trans people? Do we section them off into like a a totally separate reality versus we should kill all trans people. Yes, cordoning them off and segregating them rather than directly killing them is the better position. It is. But that shouldn't be the only two positions being demonstrated here. That's simply my argument. Okay? You're technically correct when you say, well, segregating trans people would be better overall than directly shooting them in the head. It's true.
How can we meaningfully participate in a political environment?
Yeah, this was when I was at the USC, far before the fucking election, talking about the Democrats pivoting to the right and how devastating that is, pivoting to the right on immigration and how devastating that is.
When we feel like a party like the Democrats are tacking, almost to like where Reagan was in the 80s. Like, what should young people
worse
do?
than Reagan on immigration. I mean, at least he gave amnesty, you know, which is crazy to say. I mean, I'm not saying that. Fuck Reagan. Yeah. It is quite informative to watch the Reagan George H.W. Bush debate on specifically immigration, though, from that election cycle. Honestly, it's like shocking.
Flashback. We're doing two things. We're creating a whole society of really honorable, decent, family-loving people that are in violation of the law, and secondly, we're exacerbating relations with Mexico. These are good people, strong people. Part of my family is a Mexican.
Rather than making them or talking about putting up a fence, why don't we work out some recognition of our mutual problems, make it possible for them to come here legally with a work permit, and then while they're working and earning here, they pay taxes here.
End of flashback.
That is where we've gotten in terms of like how far right we have ratcheted on so many issues. And I think that the Democratic Party is definitely responsible for that, because like they are supposed to be the expected counterbalance to growing fascism in this country.
How can we meaningfully participate in a political environment when we feel like
That's it. Go ahead, man. Tell me I'm fucking wrong. People say the Democratic Party went too far left. It's like, bitch, the Republican Party was the pro-amnesty party. Fuck you mean? Fuck you mean? Cushbomb truth nuke on how the Democratic Party and the Republican Party exists as a dialectic, and the worse the Democrats become, the worse Republicans become. You only need to watch 2 minutes.
Of its own volition. It is always being made by what's around.
How are Democrats already shaming progressives and not supporting centrists before primaries even happened, despite centrism losing every single swing state in the last election? Yeah. Yeah. I'm not saying I won't vote for any Democrat. I'm not even saying I won't vote for Gavin Newsom at all. But as it stands currently, the way he's presented himself, he's done nothing to fucking earn not only my vote, but the votes of millions of Americans. That's it. That's fucking it.
Party wants me to believe that Gavin Newsom is the Democratic frontrunner for the 2028 election. Gavin Newsom, who destroyed homeless encampments, who dated a 19-year-old when he was 40, who went on Charlie Kirk's podcast and talked about how much his sons loved Charlie Kirk, and now is on Ben Shapiro's podcast guzzling ICE agent dick. The Democratic Party wants me to believe that this is our frontrunner. They're going to have to knock me out and drug me to put me in a polling booth. They're going to have to roofie me.
Centrists would be like, we should do that, by the way. That's a bet. The Hasan anti-pedo aura claimed another op. Nookstaka was making not safe for work channels for minors in his Discord, where people were talking sexually in them, sending them bestiality porn, crazy video from Nicandros. Okay, someone hit me with the fucking compy of Nookstaku thumbnails, please. Someone please send that to me, because there's another judge me by my enemies tweet coming out. Another pedo Nazi that Epstein loves. I mean, birds of a feather flock together. Am I right? How shocking. How shocking. Look, I don't want this to be the only fucking type of op that I have, but god damn it, that is usually the way it works. Okay. I don't know what it is. No, stop. This link is not what I'm looking for. Okay. Give me a thumbo. Give me a photo of all the fucking. Oh, here it is. This is what I mean. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. Do you feel like a turd in the pedophile punch bowl? I don't want to be around any of these people. Okay. I don't want to be around any of these people. I don't want to fucking be mentioned by these people. I don't want to know that these people exist. They've, for some weird reason, made it their fucking lives mission. Another judge me by my enemies tweet has hit the fucking timeline. Why is it that they're always pedophiles? How is that possible? What is this? I said liberal Twitter has erupted, demanding party loyalty, hitting lesser evilism and harm reduction lines 2 years out from the presidential election, but they refuse to reckon with this historic unpopularity for the Dems as Trump is deeply unpopular. Hold your electeds accountable, please. It's not demanding party loyalty. It's demanding you help stop trans people from getting denied their existence, women being denied bodily autonomy, and slightly increasing the likelihood. Shut the fuck up. Democrats are not doing enough on this front either, okay? You're just assuming that they're going to do it while they're literally communicating that they won't even do it. I want them to openly stake their fucking reputation on this. I want them to say, this is where I draw a line in the fucking sand. This is it. This is the problem. These guys just present the Democrats as not what the Democrats present themselves as, but as what they wish the Democrats were. Preemptively saying you'll never vote for this is weird. Yeah. Slightly increased likelihood of the genocide ending is such a funny fucking take. Clearly, the people did not assume that that was the case for a good reason, because Kamala Harris openly postured as though she would not change anything. And she lost. I like how you openly admitted then president would only slightly increase an end to the genocide. Yes, because I'd rather vote for something to be done rather than vote third party, which guarantees a loss as nothing else. Okay. The guy on Twitter thinks that your decision making because they lack object permanence. Yeah. 2 years ago, but still hits.
We're Democrats. Of course we believe you should vote blue, no matter who.
We're Democrats. We don't care about approval ratings. What other choice do you have?
We're Democrats. We could pass legislation that would change your life for the better. We're just not going to.
We're Democrats. Of course, we're going to promise something and not really deliver.
We're Democrats. We made everyone celebrate Pride Month, including the military-industrial complex.
We're Democrats. The economy may not be great for you, but it's going great for our donors.
We're Democrats. Donald Trump is the best thing that's ever happened to us.
We're Democrats. History ended with Obama.
We're Democrats. Of course we love dropping bombs on babies, as long as it's done by a woman.
We're Democrats. Your only choice.
We're Democrats. Don't worry about it.
We're Democrats. I really miss Obama. I really miss Obama. I really, really miss Obama.
Updated playlist. The hearing has ended. Okay. We've been going through so much lately. Now we've been hit with the blow that Amy Klobuchar may once again run in a state she is inevitable to win. Please try and interview or spotlight 2 other candidates running against Klobuchar. We have to make sure that they don't cancel the DFL primary in Minnesota. Sorry for the rant. Your liberal ops are the most dangerous group of people in our planet or known universe. That's not true. That's not true. No. The most dangerous people on the planet are always going to be the Republicans. Okay? That's not true. Republicans are still far worse than my liberal opposition. My liberal opposition is like talking to an increasingly smaller audience of disaffected liberals who still think like, real third-way neoliberalism hasn't been tried. And if we try real third-way neoliberalism, if we try it the right way this time around, it's going to fucking work. That's the reason why I'm actually pushing back against these dipshits right now, because I know what the people actually think. I know that the people on the ground have had enough of this bullshit. Damn, they would never give you any charity or any leftist that charity. I don't care. I don't care about these people, okay? I don't care about the actual liberal content creators that speak to like 300 people at a fucking time. I care about making sure that the Democrats don't get their notes from these fucking dickheads and then lead the population astray, because they're going to do that, and then they're going to lose again. And then we're going to have a fascist in charge again and again and again and again. Okay? The reason why I'm pushing back on this, though, is that this is a much broader conversation that has been taking place since 2016, and they're going to keep having it. It's very clear. We can't let the Democratic Party have this fucking conversation. We need to fucking stamp it out and shut it out instantly. Yes, I do have a plan to talk to Oliver Larkin, Florida 23 on stream. Yes, I like him. Once you put a DSA candidate that won a Dem primary, they shut the fuck up and toe the line. They have no vision for the better. Exactly. They don't stand in opposition to the DSA candidates. They don't. I bet they didn't expect to have any pushback with this. Yes, of course. They run their goddamn mouths. And the reason why I'm pushing back right now and urging you to push back right now is because we got to nip this shit in the fucking bud. If you want to fight back against the Republicans, you can't be doing this shit. You can't be yelling at your most that is combating the Republicans where they're at on the fucking streets every single day. Okay? You can't do that. Why does Zay not fuck with you? Because they're insane, okay? Because they've lost their fucking minds. That's the reason why Zay Squirrel will use any and every opportunity to fucking attack me, because they think that, I mean, it's the bad empanada shit. That's why. Please stop. It doesn't matter. Their heart is in the fucking right place. I even say that about bad empanada too. I don't care. I don't care about like, you know, talking about the political machinations and the way that we try to get anything done in this fucking country. Me good, you bad. Topic related TikTok.
There is no hope for y'all. We are 3 years out of the election, and already you have liberals making excuses for the Democrats sucking shit and blowing another election. Already, bro, like the candidates have not even announced their run for the primary yet, and you're already making these vote blue no matter who arguments and saying that people need to just shut up and vote for a candidate 3 years in the future whom they have serious concerns about right now. How many times do y'all want to learn this lesson? Is 3 times not enough? Okay, let me explain this to you very quickly. You have to run for something in order to win. It is not enough to run against something in order to win. This isn't even a matter of my personal principles, even though they happen to align that way. It's just electoral pragmatism. You cannot spend your time just shitting on Republicans. You cannot brand yourself as the adult in the room. And you absolutely cannot be advocating for a return to normalcy. Again, this is not my personal principles, even though I find all those things reprehensible. This is electoral pragmatism. The number one motivating force in today's politics is anti-establishmentarianism. This attitude is what is going to entrench a permanent Republican majority in this country, even though the things that the Republicans advocate for are not popular. This attitude, letting the Democrats give you the bare fucking minimum and not speaking up, even when there is so much fucking time, 3 years to get what you want, to get a candidate who actually wants to do something, do anything. This is the problem. It is not leftists, it is not pro-Palestine advocates, it is not third-party voters who are the problem, it is y'all. When Republicans ran moderates, they got their shit handed to them and Obama won Ohio. But luckily for them, they're capable of learning and growing. And now, only a couple years later, they are about to get everything on their wish list. We need Democrats to start acting like Republicans, not in just tweeting snarky things, but in actually advocating for something. This is how people like Zoran Mamdani become political upsets, even though they happen to be radicals. Once again, this is not my personal politics speaking, although the reality happens to align with my personal politics. Funny how that works when you're right. No, I'm saying what I'm saying because I have to live in the same country with y'all, and I actually detest fascism in all of its forms, even fascism light coming from the Blue Party. It's so fucking pathetic. We're 3 years out from the primary and you've already sold out all your principles. It's gross, and what's more, it's not even going to work.
Yeah. All right. Now let's get to the Pedophilia Protection Party. They're Republican. Now that I've spent a good deal of time shitting on the liberals that have been spending today, you know, getting their licks in. They use every tragedy to attack you. I know. This is the Canadian Center for Israel and Jewish Affairs in Canada, by the way. On Thursday, the controversial U.S.-based streamer Hasan Piker will be speaking at an event at UBC's Chance Center. Piker has a long-standing record of justifying violence, endangering public safety, amplifying extremist actors, and demonizing Jews and Israelis. In the past weeks, thousands of Canadians have contacted their local MPs to send a strong message. Individuals who promote dangerous rhetoric and platform Canadian-listed terror entities should never be allowed to enter the country. Swipe to read our statement. Damn, I couldn't even get tickets to see you. I know, that shit's been sold out for literally a minute. I think I got to tell these colleges to host me in bigger rooms. I'm going to be honest. It was sold out in 3 minutes, okay? They tried to do this shit. It didn't work. People do not give a fuck about what these guys have to say. No motion whatsoever, okay? Both parties' leaders support genocide, so she was spot on. Fucking come to Toronto. Fuck Vancouver. I'm going to be in Vancouver, but I'm gonna come to Toronto too. I'm never going to Calgary. Why is it that people go, yeah, dude, come to Alberta? No, I'm fucking with you. I will be coming to Toronto at some point too. New travel update. Cuba. is happening soon. Okay, there is a place I'm going to soon. It's called Cuba. Potentially, we'll see. We're working on it. All right, we're fucking working on it. Pull up to Hamilton, JK. There's nothing to do there. Yes, if you're gonna be in Vancouver, will you be collabing with Northern Line in some way? No, I'm not. He's a dad, okay, and he has a lot of responsibilities. Why not run someone like Ro Khanna or Mazzy? At least they did something about what the people are asking for. Wait, what? I never said I work with Ro Khanna all the fucking time. I talk to Ro Khanna all the fucking time. I've become a fan of Ro Khanna as of late, for sure. He's doing great. He's doing great work. There is no way you'll keep an internet connection. I was just there. No, I know. First of all, never say never. Secondly, you have opportunities on the boat. It's just impossible on the island. So we're trying to figure out how we can make that happen. Let me fucking cook, okay? I know. The problem is, for understandable reasons, the Cuban government is not exactly fond of Starlink. Okay? I get why they wouldn't want that. Your ass isn't going to Cuba if you can't sit at a desktop for a singular day. What a lot of people don't understand that, like, there are American companies that are currently still servicing the telephone lines in Cuba, like right now. So if you go to Cuba right now, it's really patchy at this point. It's like virtually impossible. But like when I was previously slated to go to Cuba, I had already set it up where I could live stream from Cuba on Cuban soil. Now, obviously, the dynamic has changed quite a bit because there's not a lot of reliable electricity. And also, there's not. What motion do you have in Cuba? Don't even ask. Don't even ask a question like that if you don't want to hear the answers. If you're not ready for the fucking answers, okay? Just saying. Just find a coffee shop with free Wi-Fi. That's what I did. Come to ATL. Okay. The moment you step into Cuba, I'm calling my cousins to stream snipe you. Would there be any benefit to more of yous, just like there are so many shit libs and so many right-wing creators? Yes, of course. If you don't bring crude oil, you're a bitch, bro. I know. Did that chatter not see when you interviewed an official for Cuba with the DSA? I have another Cuban official that I will be interviewing as well. He's not the only Cuban official that I am going to interview. I have another one coming up soon. I am going to be interviewing Cuba's deputy foreign minister, Carlos de Cosio, soon as well. We got international motion, baby. The fuck you mean? For as much shit as you give Torontoians, I think you'd love it there. I think so too. Anyway, it's pronounced Coseo. Sorry. Carlos de Coseo. All right, what is happening in the chat? Everyone is literally telling me to go places, okay? Stop spamming. Come to my hometown in a million different versions of it, okay? Toronto, the Tehran of Canada. Okay. You fucking idiots. Ay, ay, ay. Habibi, come to Dubai. That's not happening. I'll tell you where I'm not going. Dubai. Okay. You should visit the moon. Next socialist haven. Okay. Okay. I didn't even finish this fucking Gavin Newsom thing, and then I'm gonna get to Pam Bondi.
Threshold. That's not my opinion, so I don't share that opinion as it relates to genocide. I do not agree with that notion.
But you do understand that if you accuse Israel of committing a genocide, that now puts Israel in the position of it should be a pariah state, because states that commit genocide should be pariah states. Yeah. So granting legitimacy to that position inherently,
I'm not granting legitimacy. I'm just saying the devastation in Gaza at the human level. You've got four kids.
Of course, it's terrible.
No, but I think it's also important to absorb that a little bit more. Just as it was sick, and we were clear in our condemnation, these people like me, as it relates to what Hamas did in that act of barbarism and terrorism.
Yeah, but there's a difference between deliberate terrorism and wartime collateral damage, of course. And if we refuse to acknowledge that reality, then we end up equating
collateral damage. I have stronger opinions. It wasn't just collateral.
Really, you think that Israel is targeting civilians?
I think some of the double tapping issues. I have a lot of issues with how Bibi ultimately conducted the war. I personally do, and I have a lot of issues that are also painted on the basis of the conversation I had when a few weeks later after October 7th, the way he talked about the Palestinians. I kept talking about Hamas. He kept talking about the Palestinians. I kept coming back to Hamas, and then ultimately how the war was conducted. Not saying it was a genocide. I'm not. but I have issues.
What
with
is the
that.
thing that he said that you particularly?
There was a dehumanization. I didn't like the way he talked about the Palestinian people. I just didn't.
What is the specific? Thing
they
that he
can't
said?
govern. I didn't. The specific. I don't want to get into the details.
The
of the
reason I'm
conversation
asking
with
is
the Prime
because
Minister.
when you suggest that he is conflating Hamas and the Palestinians,
He wasn't
then of course
conflating,
it does
he-
lead to the conclusion.
They
that
were
you
different.
seem
It
to be
wasn't.
avoiding.
No. It was. I'm just saying the way he ultimately conducted it.
Yeah, I love that, dude. Guy who caves to Ben Shapiro of all people. This is our guy. This is going to be our guy, dude.
I look back at that conversation. I reflect on rather that conversation.
And by the way, caved on his show. In the same podcast, he condemned his own anti-ICE rhetoric. At a time when literally, like, the majority position is fuck ICE. You got Republicans being like, yeah, I don't really fuck with ICE that much anymore. This is not what I thought was going to happen. I wanted the border to be closed, but I don't like that, you got a bunch of dudes who are like second generation Cubans and shit shooting white guys in the fucking streets. I'm a little bit of a white supremacist, and if it's a bridge too far for me, brother. And you got Gavin Newsom being like, actually, what we need is a modest compromise on ICE and reasonable reform. What the fuck are we doing? What are we doing? What is happening? Your instincts are dog shit.
It doesn't surprise me, and I did not think it was proportionate.
Okay,
and I thought it was overwhelming, and the devastation and destruction breaks my heart.
Okay, so you're president of the United States. Somebody invades from Mexico. They take several thousand American citizens.
I get it. And by the way,
they hold them.
He's still, oh my God. October 7. It's like, this is a non-starter. You should literally turn around and tell Ben Shapiro, hey man, look, your politics are the politics of yesteryear. Okay. Sorry. Israel first commentary doesn't work. So much so that your own party has banished you in exchange for a homosexual neo-Nazi who happens to be Mexican. What the fuck? What are we talking about? Your politics are so repulsive that your own party's like, I don't know if we're gonna work with one of these guys. I'm probably working with Nicolas Fuentes. And here's Gavin Newsom offering concessions to that guy for the most repulsive policy position he can fucking arrive at. Oh my God. Who is this for is the question I have. And apparently it's for the same fuck running around like headless chickens on the timeline. This is Kamala all over again. Worse, they can't really use the same excuse they used for her. It'll be 10x worse. Yeah. Nicolas Fuentes, the leader of the Latinos for Trump. Ay, por Dios. Yo voy a votar por Donald Trump. They're doing it again.
Them all the way until the end of the war. Until the end of the war, their hostages being held.
Don't get me wrong on any of this. I'm with you in terms of the ultimate accountability and bringing the hostages home. I like the clarity and conviction as it relates to getting all the hostages dead and alive home, and all of that. I'm not denying that.
And by the way, Hamas still has not been extirpated in the areas where Israel has left them alone.
And clearly this truce and détente is still a work in progress. There's been a lot of destruction.
Well, because Hamas was supposed to be disarmed, and
they
didn't.
Look, I'm crystal clear about Hamas.
But the point is that
crystal clear about Hamas.
Right, but the point is that I think,
and I'm also crystal clear in my love for Israel and my condemnation of Bibi. And there's a distinction. I condemn Donald Trump. I love my country.
These people think this is a gotcha. Something that I've revealed personally is a fucking gotcha. Okay? Like, they're like, stop trying to wiggle out of this position. It's like, I think this guy is going to fucking lose to JD Vance. I think JD Vance is repulsive. I think JD Vance's worldview is obviously heinous. That much is clear. And I think JD Vance is actually uncharismatic. But if there is one style of Democratic Party politics that could lose to JD fucking Vance, it's Gavin Newsom. It's establishment neoliberalism. I can't believe it. It's unbelievable that these guys are still like, no, you have to do this. You have to vote. If we have two planks, on the one plank of the party, we have the Kamala Harris's, okay? Let's be real. We have the establishment neoliberalism that is perfectly represented by Kamala Harris or Gavin Newsom. And then the other plank of the party is the Zoran Mamdanis, the AOCs, the Bernie Sanders, the Chris Van Hollens of the fucking party, okay? If you're saying you prefer third-way neoliberalism to socialism or socialism-adjacent policymaking, you're a fucking idiot. You just don't want to win. You want to lose, but at least you want to lose in an honorable way where you don't fucking concede on your priors, okay? Because God forbid you admit that you might have been wrong. The cultural momentum is on the side of fuck ICE, is on the side of free Palestine, and these guys who were noticeably quiet and absent from the conversation on both the fuck ICE side and the Free Palestine side want you to shut the fuck up and vote for the guy who won't say fuck ICE or say Free Palestine. It's that simple. They're stupid. They're going to fucking lose. I can't believe it. It is unfucking believable that we're doing it over and over again. We're just, look, where do you rank Ossoff in the planks? Ossoff is, depending on how he maneuvers around Israel, which is his fucking worst issue for some reason, even though he was literally anti-Israel when it was way more politically costly. And then he turned around and changed his positions. Okay? Ossoff, I think, is my sleeper pick. Ossoff, depending on how he talks about Israel going forward, is actually a sleeper pick that I have in the background. He's my background pick. I like Van Hollen. I really like Van Hollen. Ro Khanna, AOC. Those are, none of these candidates are perfect. I'm just saying, if given the option, I have like 3 people that I think are pretty, are much more reliable, much more solid than the rest. John Ossoff, on the other hand, has moved in a very different way. It just depends on where he goes. Ilhan Omar, chatter, I love Ilhan Omar. Okay, she is my favorite politician alongside Rashida Tlaib. Ilhan Omar is a naturalized American citizen. Okay, please learn the Constitution. If you got primary options and if you think between the choice of AOC versus like Gavin fucking Newsom, I'm not gonna say AOC all the fucking way, you are out of your mind. Okay, go ahead. You can get the word out right now that I'm a fucking sheepdog for the Democrats or some shit. How about Biden's corpse? Yeah. Do you think a woman can win? And would it have to be a white woman if so? I think anyone can win. I think AOC's biggest weaknesses unironically stem from how much she caves to people yelling at her, and usually not yelling at her from the left, ironically enough. She should pay less attention to people yelling at her from the left unless she actually adopts their policy framework, which is not bad. It's good. But she should stop listening to people that are like, wow, you are not listening to the, you're not listening to the voices of people who have been hurt by Palestinians existing in Israel, for example. Like that's the type of stuff that I think, like I wish, and we'll see how it goes.